Hello, everyone. This is the most magnificent bird, Beak, speaking to you today. And in today's video, I'm back at it with another character review. And this character review is going to be on Gold Mythic Luke from Season 2 of Telltale. And this is the first time that this specific character is going to be in RTS. And I'm not sure how many people really like this character. I'm not saying this character's a bad character or anything like that. No, he's a good guy, obviously, but I'm not sure where people rank him. I mean, he's just one of those characters that I think at the end of the day, I think he's an okay character, you know what I mean? I wouldn't put him at, GOATed tier or anything like that. I think most of the characters from Season 2 are, generally just okay characters. Except for maybe one or two. Except for, a small handful of characters. Luke is he's an okay type of character. I'm not sure how you guys feel about him, but before we get started, I hope all of you are doing good and staying safe out there. I'm doing good and I'm staying safe for the most part. And if you looked on my community post on my channel, you'll know that this past weekend I went to go see a little movie called Saw 10 or Saw X. And after I go over the character, I'm going to do a quick spoiler-free review of Saw 10. And, if you want to hear my thoughts on it, it will be to the best of my ability. It will be spoiler-free. So if you want to hear what I thought of it exactly in a spoiler-free way, go ahead and stick around after the character review. And yeah, let's not waste any more time. I think we should go ahead and jump into it, shall we? Luke. Telltale. His trait is tough, his role is a medic, and his allegiance is a member of Telltale. Now let's take a look at his stats. His attack stat is 9,237. His defense is 24,248. And his HP is also 24,248. Now let's take a look at his adrenaline rush. Healing through pain. The recharge rate is 55 AP, so that's pretty fast. Deal 20% of this fighter's max HP as damage to an enemy. If this fighter has bonus HP, damage a line of enemies instead. Heal this fighter and two teammates by 40% of their max HP. Okay, so clearly Luke, he's going to be very defensive. He's going to be a medic. And there's a certain special skill that he has, which we'll get to. So, overall, I think his adrenaline rush is pretty good, especially for the type of character he is and certain things that he has in his kit. I do like that. Deal 20% of his max HP as damage to an enemy. That'll be pretty good. Now, depending on how high you can get that HP to, he's going to do a pretty decent amount of damage. But, however, if he has bonus HP, Luke that is, you will be able to damage a line of enemies instead. And I'm guessing that the 20% would go to the line instead of a single enemy. And there's a great chance that Luke is going to have bonus HP. So, we will definitely get there. But overall, for him being a defensive medic, I actually quite like this Adrenaline Rush. Plus, he's going to be doing heals to not only himself, but to 2 other teammates. And there's a certain leader that you can put him behind where his HP numbers would be absolutely insane. And I think you guys know who I'm talking about. That certain leader has 70% HP on their lead skill. So, overall, a pretty good Adrenaline Rush. Now, let's take a look at his signature move. Exhausting Resources. The initial cooldown is turn 1, 2 turns for the cooldown, and number of uses unlimited. This fighter recovers from all penalties and heals 50% of their max HP for 3 turns. A line of enemies get minus 35 AP for 2 turns. Okay, so if this character, for example, has Impair, Infection, Burn, Bleed, they're pretty much going to recover, if they have multiple penalties against them, except for Stun and Daze. Those are the only 2 penalties that would stop him from being able to use his signature move, but everything except for Stun and Daze, he will pretty much be able to recover pretty much everything except those 2, which is, that's going to be a really good thing. Plus, he's going to heal 50% of his max HP, and depending on the weapon that you have on him, the mods you have on him, and it depends on the leader that is the leader that is behind him, that could be a lot of HP. So, and then plus, a line of enemies is getting minus 35 AP for 2 turns. That last part, depending on the situation you're facing, that could be really good, honestly. So, overall, I like the signature move. I think, in certain situations, I think the signature move is going to be really great, honestly. So, yeah, the Adrenaline Rush signature move, pretty good, honestly. Now, let's take a look at his mythic abilities. Spirit, 20% of all healing performed by this fighter also granted as bonus HP. Now, Spirit, for this particular character, that's going to be very important. Not only because of certain parts of his Adrenaline Rush, but also there's a specialist skill that he has which is going to help out with Spirit, and that's going to make him ever so more annoying to deal with. So I would definitely recommend leveling that one up for sure. A Painful Tail. This fighter gets 15% critical hit resistance for each Telltale Allegiance teammate. So, okay, right now, that's actually going to be a really good one to go ahead and level up, because if you have the Clem lead, Krista, Omid, and Jane, and then you could add Luke to that team, that will definitely be worth it for that critical hit resistance, because that's a whole team of 5 right there, and that Clem lead, is going to have that 70% HP, which, a Painful Tail doesn't have anything to do with HP, but I'm just stating that that's 15% critical hit resistance for each teammate that is the Telltale Allegiance, and that's actually going to be really good, because that would be a whole team. If you have Clementine, Krista, Omid, Jane, now Luke, there you go. You got a whole Telltale defensive team right there. And that's going to be a combo that I think is going to be really frustrating to take down. And not being able to hit those critical hits is going to be, it's going to be pretty bad for you if you're coming up against this team. But if you are, you know, if this is a part of your one of your defense teams, then this is going to be pretty good for you. So it would definitely be worth leveling up. True Attention. At the start of each wave, 100% chance a random enemy gets taunt for 1 turn, plus 1 duration for each other Telltale Allegiance teammate. Oh, okay, so at the start of each wave, a 100% chance that a random enemy gets taunted for a single turn. Okay, I mean, that's for a single turn. That doesn't sound too great because it's only for a single turn. But, however, if you have that whole team of, if the whole team if the whole team is Telltale, losing my train of thought, if the whole team is Telltale, then how I'm reading it, does that mean that the turns is going to bump up to 5 or 4 turns? If that's how it's supposed to work, then honestly that actually would be worth leveling up, just because that would be another way to annoy the attacking team. They won't be able to control what they're doing. So yeah, if you have a whole team of the Telltale Allegiance and then all of a sudden that turn 1 taunt turns into 5 turns, depending on who that enemy goes on. I mean, depending on where that taunt goes to whatever enemy, that could be really good, honestly. So, yeah, I would definitely think about that one for sure, but the potential of it is pretty good in my opinion. Amid the Ruins. At the start of each wave and turn, this fighter gets 30% defense for 1 turn. I was about to say 30,000%. No, 30,000. No, 30%. See, there I go. It's 30% defense for 1 turn and heals for 10% of their max HP, plus 30% defense and 10% heal for each other teammate that is the Telltale Allegiance. Okay. I got the gist of what's going on there. So, obviously, at the start of each wave and each turn, Luke is going to get 30% defense for 1 turn and heals for 10% of their max HP, plus 30% defense and 10% heal for every teammate is of the Telltale Allegiance. Okay, so the more Telltale teammates you have on the team, the better the defense and the better the heals is going to be. And if you are building up a Telltale team, that's going to be really, really helpful and I think really required. So I would definitely level that one up for sure. Overall, I think all of his mythic abilities are pretty good for the most part. I don't see a bad one, honestly. Now let's take a look at his specialist skill, Overheal 2. If this fighter were to be healed over 100% HP, this fighter and all teammates get bonus HP equal to 50% of the amount healed over 100%, regardless of any heal reduction affecting those teammates. So, obviously, he's going to be popping off bonus HP. It's going to be hard to stop that. You are really going to have to... I'm trying to think of what tunes have Overheal. All I know, I think Doesn't Nor have Overheal? I believe so. Yeah, Nor is a great example. Nor, she's very, very annoying, and she was free to play, well, sort of free to play at, when the Battle Pass was still good, you know. But now that Battle Pass is absolute dog crap. But anyway, that's besides the point. Overheal is really, really good. Once that Overheal starts popping off, good luck. Good luck. And especially the potential leader you can put Luke behind, that's just going to make it even more, like, you could pretty much kiss your team goodbye. Not necessarily them, demolishing you, but it's just him healing and doing the overhealing. So, you're pretty much going to be wasting 4 or 5 minutes trying to beat a team when you could have moved on. So, yeah, that one's very good if it's a part of your defensive plans, but it's not so fun coming up against it. So, yeah, a very good specialist skill. It fits his kit really well. And for his weapon, he has a default weapon, so you can pretty much put whatever you want in his hands. And I know there are some pretty good defensive choices that you could put that are out there. I'm sure that would work very well for this character. And he's a really good character in RTS. And if you already have that Telltale defensive team, I could see why you would want to pull for Luke, because he would fit that team really well. He would really just make that team even better than it is at the very moment. So, yeah. So, what are your thoughts on Gold Mythic Luke? Are you going to be pulling for him? And do you... sorry, I'm distracted right now. Coco, she's trying to scratch on this couch, so I apologize in a minute if you hear a bunch of scratching. That's going to be Coco. But, what are your thoughts on Gold Mythic Luke? I think he's a really good defensive toon. I won't be pulling for him because I'm missing the other 4. No, that's actually not true. I do have 3 copies of Mead, but I'm missing a majority of that team, so it wouldn't make sense for me to go for him because I don't have the other toons that would work well with him. So, yeah. I think he's a really good toon, and, if you do pull for him, good luck on your pulls, and let me know if you're going to pull for him. Now, I want to talk about Saw 10 before I get out of here. And this is going to be a spoiler-free review as much as possible. So, if you're worried about me spoiling it, don't worry. If you are still interested in watching this movie, I'm going to give you the chance to go do that. So you ain't got to worry about spoilers from me. Now, I will be talking about stuff in the trailer and certain characters that are already confirmed to be in the movie. So that's not like really spoilers. So, yeah, this movie, Saw 10, I gotta say, I really loved that movie. I really loved the movie. And maybe this is a little early, but Saw 10 right now is definitely, without a doubt, in my top 3 favorite Saw movies. I don't know exactly where in the top 3, but it's definitely in the top 3. I think it's that damn good. So this movie, obviously, Tobin Bell as John Kramer is in it, and then you have Shawnee Smith as Amanda Young. Both of their performances are really great, especially Tobin Bell's performance. And this is the first legit Saw movie that has John Kramer fully in the spotlight from beginning to end. And I don't know why it took 10 movies for them to figure that out, and how they did it. It was great. I mean, it was really great how the major spotlight is on John Kramer from beginning, middle, and end. And he's in pretty much almost every single scene. There might be one or two scenes that he's not in, but that's about it. Like I said, the spotlight is solely on John Kramer, and obviously, he has the brain tumor, and, the doctors pretty much tell him that, you only got months to live, and so, this guy, this guy pretty much tells him that, he has pancreatic stage 4 cancer, and he tells him, the guy tells John Kramer of a certain doctor that, that says that they can get rid of his brain tumor because they got rid of his pancreatic cancer. And, well, he decides to give him a call, and he sets up an appointment, and he goes to Mexico, and, they set up the surgery, and, as we know, if you're a Saw fan, you obviously know that the brain tumor never got removed. That's all in the trailer, and if you are a Saw fan, you already know this. So yeah, the doctors that supposedly did the brain surgery on him to get rid of the tumor, nope, they never got rid of it. So yeah, these piece of shit doctors, they are con artists to the T. So I gotta say, should I go any further into it? Yeah, the traps. Ooh, the traps. I'll go a little into them. You have the eyeball trap, which there's, that's in the trailer. That trap is it's pretty gnarly. And then you have you have the bone marrow trap, which that was oh my goodness. Yeah, pretty gnarly. These traps were pretty gnarly, I'm not gonna lie. It's a return to form of like the earlier Saw movies, and yeah, so I thought it was really great, honestly. And Saw 10 does 3 things that we never thought a Saw movie would ever do. I'll say one of them right here, because Saw 10 actually makes you root for John Kramer. That's an achievement upon itself. Now, what does that say about the quote-unquote victims in the traps? If you've seen this movie, you know, but, like I said, he's got these con artist doctors, and, I don't think there's a single person, as far as the victims of this particular movie, I don't feel bad for a single victim. Not really. Not really, not at all. So yeah, that's one thing that Saw 10 had the balls to do that I thought they would never do. They actually make you want to root for the crazy mass murderer John Kramer, which is, wow, like, who would have thought? Who would have actually thought? But no lie, Saw 10 is, the first true Saw movie that makes you want to root for John Kramer to get these people. And then there's two other things that they definitely like, oh, we're going there? Are we serious? Especially with one of them. I won't say what it is because it is spoilers. It's not in the trailer, I don't believe. So, yeah, there's two other things that I'm not going to mention that I'm like, oh, wow. Especially one of them, like, you really had the balls to do that. And let's see, do I want to say anything else about it? Like I said, the traps are pretty great. You know, it's more of a, it's almost 2 hours long. So probably the longest Saw movie out of all of them. And John Kramer, he gets the spotlight from beginning, middle, and end. So, and let's talk about Shawnee Smith for a minute, I should say. I think Tobin Bell, he is, I don't know if y'all know this, but he is 81 years old. That man, when they first started these about 20 years ago, he was already old, you know what I mean? So that's crazy. He's 81 years old, still doing this. And that actor, he looks great. He looks great for his age of being 81 years old. And the way they make him look like how someone would look if they had cancer. They did a really good job at making him look like that. But Shawnee Smith, Amanda Young, some people might say she really looks old. And to a certain degree, she does look older. But you gotta remember, this has been nearly 20 years. She's not gonna look the exact same. But, maybe the hairstyle choice could have been better. Instead of giving her short hair, maybe they should have just left her hair long. I mean, I don't know. But other than that, once I actually got into the movie, I actually didn't mind it all too much. But I could see where some people were complaining, oh, Amanda Young doesn't look as good as she did. Which you gotta remember, it's been about 20 years, so people are gonna age in that time. So, yeah, so like I said, Tobin Bell's acting chops are, they're really great. They're really good in this movie. And Shawnee Smith's acting, it's pretty great too, especially when both Amanda Young and John Kramer are on screen. Their chemistry is really freaking great together. And honestly, I don't think there's a single bad actor in this movie. Like I said, there's some other stuff in it that I'm not going to talk about. But there is one thing that you think is going to be left open-ended. Oh, no. That loose thread gets tied up. Of course, there is a after-credit scene, which is really weird for a Saw movie. But there is an end-credit scene. Definitely stick around for that. And that loose thread gets tied up in that end-credit scene. You'll know what I mean if you see the movie. Honestly, yeah, I'm not gonna say too much more about the movie. I really absolutely, I loved it. I cannot wait to watch Saw 10 again, because it does 3 specific things that I'm like, oh wow, we are really doing this? Okay. I can definitely appreciate it, man. I know I said before that, I wanted to see something else with Spiral, but you know what? After seeing Saw 10, we can just kiss Spiral goodbye. Honestly, I'm okay not seeing anything else from Spiral after watching this. And I don't know, will we see a Saw 11? I don't know. It depends on how it does at the box office, which we could see a Saw 11 it's possible depending on the budget and depending on how much it costs. So overall, Saw 10 is really great in my opinion. It's in my top 3 favorite Saw movies. John Kramer and Amanda Young's chemistry is really good in this movie. And it does 3 things. One of them I mentioned. It does 3 specific things that I never thought I would see a Saw movie do. And yeah, like I said, I'm not going to really go into it anymore. And yeah, it's really great. And that's all I got to say on it as far as spoiler free anyway. So that's all I got for you guys for today. And I want to thank each and every one of you for stopping by and for your continued support. Or if you're new, welcome in for the first time. All of you are very awesome, and I thank you again. And don't forget to hit the bell and switch on all notifications so you know the second I upload to YouTube. I am Buck Beak, and I'm gonna go fly away back to my nest. Until next time, bye guys.